Starting with a man that you may know very well.
No, regresó, chat. ¿Se acuerdan de no?
You've seen him in action before. And
Todos pensamos que lo habían corrido, chat.
Before that, for anyone who may not have met you in our...
¿Qué haces aquí?
I, as an activity designer, you know, it's in the name. We make the activities that players play, and generally everything that players interact with.
Web designer, been around a bunch for quite a while, but somewhat new to design. This is my first release as designer. I did some work on the dungeon set.
I'm the guy that says we're listening. Ultimately, work with the community team, do a lot of the strategizing, looking at the forward-facing comms and all that, but then work with our community folks, our player support folks. And
the Destiny vets out there, the Destiny 1 players who may be still with us as well, myself included, we are returning to an activity that's been reprised from the Destiny 1 days.
Absolutely.
Noah, can you tell us what we're getting into here?
You know, you said returning. I'd like to say this activity was reimagined.
Yeah.
Instead of it being the Prison of Elders from Destiny 1, this is now
Presidio de los
Ancianos. This activity
estoy fumando
is
hierba.
Contest of Elders, actually. Now, I'm going to want the fire team to hold up a little bit because I want to describe it a little
Presidio
bit.
de los Ancianos de Destiny 1, chat.
So if those who are familiar with things like Deep Dives or The Coil and Riven's Lair from Season 23, this is a similar kind of activity where it's a longer tail, more roguelite activity. One of our design tenets was we wanted to make it as variable as possible. And we'll go into a lot of what makes it as variable as it is. But in general, it follows a lot of the beats from Prison of Elders and Destiny 1, which is, you know, you go to arenas, complete encounters, and all this while the spooky, scary warden is kind of in your ear, kind of egging you on. Instead of it being Varix, it's the warden servitor. And players are trying to placate this warden rather than like rebel against him. So the more you do that he says, you'll actually get more loot, and we'll go into that a little bit more in the future.
Excellent. A lot of chances to test out your Varix impressions, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we'll hear a little.
Oh, yeah. Give it time. We'll get there. Absolutely.
Oh my
all right, so let's go ahead and
Lord.
kick things off. So with this, was it basically just bringing back kind of the activity from Destiny 1, same races, same bosses, and everything, or what are you guys trying to do?
We wanted
Pregunta si son los mismos bosses, los mismos
really
enemigos.
excited about was,
O sea, que son los mismos enemigos de Destiny 1.
We want to keep the best parts of Prison of Elders that people love, the most iconic aspects. So, you know, things like dismantle mines. We might have some fan favorite Taken bosses and other bosses that people remember. But the main thing was being able to modernize it to not only the new Destiny sandbox that we have, but just the new vibe. We're in a vampire hunter season. Why not go back to the derelict Prison of Elders and hunt more vampires? And like you said about factions, in the old Prison of Elders, it was the Fallen, the Cabal, the Hive, the Vex. We don't have the Vex anymore. Instead, it's the Dread now, being led by some Taken forces.
Very cool.
Instead of the regular Cabal, we have the Shadow Legion. Instead of normal Hive, we have the Lucent Hive, and we have the Revenant Scorn instead of the Fallen. So we kind of changed up all the races, and you'll be able to see it. It's really apparent when you go to their arenas since they're all themed based on the races.
So I'm going to bug you about bosses soon, but can you tell us just a little bit about what we're seeing here, whether it's the modifiers or anything like that? I noticed there's obviously a lot of chances to test your skill here against the modifiers you guys have put in.
Oh, yeah. So we, for those who are familiar with the legacy Prison of Elders, there were a bunch of modifiers that were on a rotation. Some were kind of beneficial, like Solar Burn, where it was like the enemies give you damage, but you can kind of deal some. And this, all of them are not beneficial to you. And actually, as a quick segue, we saw Urrox there. He was an old Destiny 1 Prison of Elders boss, a legacy boss. And he's come back as a Lucent Hive Guardian, and we had some other few bosses who have come back from the grave.
Vale, chat, por lo visto vuelven los mismos jefes, vuelve el loot de Destiny 1. O sea, cosas muy parecidas, como mantener la esencia, que quieren que sea parecido a Destiny 1, que tengan esa sensación de nostalgia. Obviamente con modificadores nuevos de actividad, actualizaciones. Pero parece que hablamos de jefes y loots, son parecidos.
Haste, we got Brawn, if people have had experience with that, and a few other things like Chill Touch, Scrapper, Grounded, a few other things that kind of rotate around.
A lot of opportunities to get good.
Opportunities to run around, grab your ammo, and then turn out it's a bomb. Oops.
I love that one. That's one of my favorite perks, actually.
That never happens to me all the time. No, all right.
It's really nice that it pops up.
Chill Touch right there.
I want to
Modificadores chicos para mili.
Shout out our
Modificadores para granadas. Cada vez que vamos cambiando de arena o de lugar, te van activando un modificador que te beneficia o te afecta.
It was no small feat but I'm glad it works. You know,
so mantener la esencia es para decir reciclamos todo.
And yours for your hard work. Absolutely.
Es una buena reciclada y una buena forma de vendértelo.
How this activity is structured. I'd say it's very close to Riven's Lair. For those who remembered, Riven's Lair, you kind of had a trap room, then an encounter, then another trap room, then a boss. In this, it's slightly more action focused. So we have, as we saw, that cryopod encounter first. Then you'll have a faction encounter. It'll take you to a random arena throughout the prison. It's still shaped like the spokes, like in the original Prison of Elders. Then you'll have a short traversal section, and then you'll have a boss. And then after that, you will get pulled into the warden's office and get your loot, and then you'll run around the loop again. In every single encounter, you're going to have a challenge, and for bosses specifically, you're going to have a critical objective. And that kind of all goes into like this in-activity reputation system that's called the Warden's Judgment. When you read the rules, for all my players who like to read, you can see what that is, but I know people don't read, so I'm going to try to explain it the best I can.
Why were you staring right at me when you said that? That's so weird.
I don't read either.
Okay.
I mean, I literally will look at it and I'll be like, I don't care.
I'll figure.
Launch.
Yeah.
So the Warden's Judgment is a pretty simple but kind of complicated
vale, se ve que para hacerle jefe daño al jefe tenemos que activar e interactuar con algunas plataformas, con algunos tipos tanques de oxígeno, haciendo como ciertas actividades para poder hacerle daño a la arañita.
Raps, just subscribe. Es hora de bailar.
The threshold they need to get to the wish chamber, but it just missing out things felt bad, and it initially kind of like hampers your desire to keep going because you might be like, well, I don't want to get to the very end and see if I didn't get to it.
Right. Yeah.
So to address that, the Warden's Judgment is kind of like a inactivity way to check how well you're doing. There will be a buff on the top of your screen, then it'll kind of dictate how well you're doing. So when you complete a challenge or a bonus objective, your Warden's Judgment will increase. It can get all the way up to favor times 1 to 3. If you do not complete the objective within the time limit, you will go down a level. And if you're in Warden's Punishment, the activity gets a little bit easier. We have less elites, less mini bosses, and our high value targets that are called model prisoners will be elites, and they give you a revive token.
Vale, chicos, hay como un tiempo límite que si completas los objetivos en el tiempo límite también obtienes más recompensas, vas avanzando de nivel, pero si no obtienes o haces los objetivos en el tiempo límite, como que no avanzas o no obtienes lo que deberías obtener, hablando de loot. Como que hay objetivos que cumplir para pues hacerlo pues más interesante, supongo, y más tentativo.
Exactly. But that's kind of the core about this activity that makes it cool. People say that these activities kind of take a long time sometimes. You have 40, 50, maybe 60-minute activities. The better you do, the warden can actually allow you to skip an encounter. And we've had in playtests, we've had runs that can last 28 minutes, 30 minutes, and that's when you're getting the most rewards. So this is kind of promoting like maybe you'll get bad luck and have some bad encounters, but the more you run it, you'll get more experience, you'll understand.
Gracias por las suscripciones, chat. Ahorita las agradezco.
Rewards really fast and kind of experience the whole Prison of Elders in this new light.
Yeah,
really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
build into it a bit.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, to the community, what was that again? 28 minutes, you said?
28.
Son como bloques de celdas, vas avanzando por bloques.
No, I'm sure, but still.
Y ya vieron cómo va apareciendo un nuevo modificador por cada bloque de celda.
And I will at you on Twitter or something.
Not in game.
Not in game.
Yeah, this is just like an imaginary title.
Yeah, I made that up just now.
He'll say it on Twitter. Blazing Muffins will give you a shout out on Twitter. But no, so it's kind of nice to have the opportunity to sort of, I guess, if you're learning the activities, if you're kind of just, getting beaten down a little bit, you have a chance to build yourself up a bit, kind of get a sense of the battle arena, the mechanics in place. That way, as you kind of build yourself up, that higher Warden's favor.
There Fire Team's actually showing one of my favorite features. Which we tried to give every boss.
El primer jefe, chicos.
So this boss descends in from a thresher from the ceiling. So every enemy race has
¿El jefe es una nave?
Mechanic. So
no.
Generally
no, ¿verdad? No, creo que sería muy raro que fuera una nave el jefe.
All about getting these explosive charges and
yo pensando que es la nave. ¿O es la nave?
We'll see the dreads in a second, but the scores are about like getting these explosive cannons and kind of making a makeshift explosive. Internally, I like to call it the junkyard fantasy because like it's kind of like all junky.
En la nave castrosa.
Tinkering and putting it together.
Yeah,
Se volvió un jefe, Chad.
Really cool.
Se hizo canon.
Mika for doing this. He also made the finality strike, so shout out to him. He
Tan
made a really
castrosa
cool
que ahora
thing
ya es
where
un
like,
jefe,
you
tío.
see the explosion trail like kind of get to the big explosive.
Like a fuse.
Yeah, it's so big.
No, I have to ask, why did it have to be a Thresher?
Oh,
I'm having some memories from Neo Muna.
No puedo
This is
creer.
scaring me already.
Well, you know, Threshers are cool, no, and it's just, you know, it's cool to have different
Commander's
boss silhouettes in
Thresher.
Destiny. We don't often actually fight a Thresher as a boss, and the Thresher's not even the true boss, as we see a Scion and his Scion goons.
Dice que no es el verdadero boss. Ajá, ya lo dijo ahí. Dice que no es el verdadero boss, pero viene, ahí viene el psiónico. Ya lo mencionó, ya lo mencionó. Pero bueno, hubiera mencionado al principio eso, ¿verdad? ¿Sí,
no?
I imagine just that the unstoppable Thresher meme, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Thresher podría ser un boss ahora que lo pienso.
So, I mean, I gotta ask as well, like, this is, you know, an opportunity to kind of bring back this activity from Destiny 1, to kind of look at what was best about it. You know, please, yeah, dive in.
So,
vale, vamos abajo, activamos esto.
Probably very much like, why is the screen green?
Fair.
So critical objectives have been massively increased in like complexity, I believe.
Yeah.
So every time a boss starts, there's just a timer ticking down that we're not showing you, and then a critical objective will spawn. If you complete
Objetivos destrucciónicos para quitar el
your
escudo.
judgment will react accordingly. But what we ask you to do for these critical objectives are much more dangerous than like our normal stuff, which is like maybe get kills with abilities, get kills with the Scorch Cannon. This one is a certain level and below, all of it will be poison gas that does damage.
Debería hacerte daño el piso verde, ¿sabes? Como estaría bueno. Si te metes, the floor is lava.
That are also in the poison gas. So the Warden servitor will be like, warning, poison gas, or whatever.
Modificador
Like,
limpio.
Right.
Yes,
that's
all the time.
Yeah.
I've been at home just like by myself, just doing a Varix impression, like to like nothing, and I'm like,
that's how I'm going to talk to my cat exclusively now. I can just tell.
I think he'll get a little scared though.
It's okay. He has to exist around me anyway. He's well prepared.
I just think of insect like chattering in the subtitles. That's all I got in my brain.
Vale,
Chittering,
completaron las tres quests,
And we see
entonces
the Warden's
los tres
office,
desafíos.
so that's not what it's called.
Supongo que por completar los tres desafíos a tiempo te dan los tres cofres, o sea, un cofre por desafío por celda, ¿no?
Chamber where the Warden will reward you based on how well you've done. This fire team has done very well, so they get 3 chests and you get a rally banner that allows you to like kind of, you know, refresh your super and ammo and stuff before the next round. Yeah. And as we saw, we have like judgment, calculating, punishment protocol averted. If you're in the Warden's punishment while he's judging you in this like kind of Monopoly style like mini game, a punishment will happen. I don't want to spoil what that is, but I think it'll be.
Miren el disfraz este. ¿Se acuerdan del que habían filtrado, chat? Ya lo trae este titán. ¿Era Sailor Moon o algo así? ¿Ya lo vieron? Voltea a verlo, voltea a verlo.
If you keep that momentum, you're able to skip that encounter every single time and kind of go through the prison much faster than you would normally.
Yeah.
Vale, estamos en el mundo trono.
Also, please feel free to keep jumping back in. I know there's a lot of stuff we're going to be checking out, but Taylor, I want to quickly bug you. With the arrival of Act 2, we're going to have a couple of new weapons, a few new weapons being added to the overall loot pool. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the new season, or pardon me, Act weapons, rather, that we're going to be having available to us?
Yeah, sure. So we have like 2 new seasonal weapons or Act weapons.
Got the SMG and the shotgun.
Yeah,
right? yeah.
There's an Arc Precision SMG, and then there's a
Attrition Orbs, right?
Yeah, Attrition Orb. Yeah, it's got a bunch of perk rolls on it, which we'll get to in a second, and then a Void Precision Shotgun, which has some Dust Rock blue jeans. If you
very
jeans.
Yeah. If you we'll probably see the model in a few minutes, but the resemblance is uncanny.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool rolls for both of these, both for PvE and PvP.
Let's take a quick look.
So this one's got the new arc perk.
Vale, orbes desgastados, y este perk es el que te permite hacer daño de arco, electrizar. Sacudida, Jolt. Haces daño y electrizas a los enemigos, y además con orbes desgastados. Generar daño continuo te da orbes. Esta es la escopeta. Tiene rodeado, mejora deslizante, ok. Es de armazón de precisión, si no me equivoco. Ok. Todavía no están disponibles. Según yo ya están disponibles, chat. Estoy confundido. ¿Por qué estas armas se me hacen parecidas a las de esta temporada? No deja ver el emblema. Sorry.
Also, with regard to the new shotgun, You know, obviously PvP or PvE rather is going to get some nice buffs. You were saying the repulsor brace, volatile rounds.
Yeah.
Except those. But at any rate, there was a PvP role you were talking about earlier as well. Like it's going to have a lot of versatility in the same.
Oh yeah, it's got a lot of roles and it's precision frames. So I know it's like the most popular right now for PvP.
Yeah, been getting killed by those a lot these days. So in addition to these 2 new Act weapons getting added to the pool, there's also one of the reprised ones as well that I'm personally pretty excited about from Season of the Splicer coming back, Grid Skipper.
Yes.
Grid Skipper?
Yeah, so go ahead.
Grid Skipper.
Yeah, I have a very personal connection to this gun, so it was like one of my favorite things. I actually helped work on the original set of these when they first came out. But I did the rolls on these.
Let's take a quick
it's
look.
Got some
Ahora
classics
chicos,
from the
tenemos
past, but also
pulso
some new rolls.
del pasado,
Also, it's got a lot of
Comecocos,
options for both PvP
para
and
perks de
PvP.
vacío,
Get
va a ser
some,
una baja, debilita.
Zenmomen Headseeker for PvP, probably pretty nice.
Crea explosiones de vacío. Tenemos
My
Suri, super
original
de origen.
classic roll was Killing Wind multi-kill clip, which with the new Splice Origin will work pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm a compulsive reloader myself, so manning the pulse and getting that Splicer Surge going after a couple kills, it pretty much like negates the major downside of rapid fire pulses of being like pretty low handling and reload baseline.
That was the role you talked about in the Twid, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Of all the people, you chose the legendary.
El SMG se ve bueno, Chad.
So
for
with the
context.
past,
Creo que el SMG es lo mejor que han mostrado por los perks que tiene.
What would you want? A bunch of other people
Orbes
said,
devastados y el perk de arco que electriza al enemigo. Siendo honestos, y que
There's
sea
no
de
wrong
arco
choice
está
in
bien.
theirs, but yours was very correct.
La verdad que es lo
a
mejorcito.
couple new PvE rolls as well. But,
Yeah.
there's a lot to look forward to. I'm going to be grinding this a lot.
Yeah.
I want to interject real quick because we were at a good time.
Yeah.
So this is, the fire team went through it earlier, but this is a traversal section. So these are different than how they were in the coil. I also want to shout out every player who died to my spike traps in the coil. I did that on purpose.
How dare
I don't
you.
feel bad.
There's a lot of grudges being built in chat right now in real time. It's,
I don't feel bad.
You're like an evil DM, honestly. It's so.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun to them, but
You're
it's fun to
burning
me.
at like 2 a.m. and it's me screaming at my ceiling, Noah, why did you do that?
Exactly. I
just-
see all the comments and I'm like.
He just smiles. Yeah, he just feels better. Warms up his coffee. Yeah.
These are these are much shorter than they were in the coil, but their goal is in Contest of Elders specifically, not Tomb of Elders, which is like 1 lap.
Yeah.
These have their own challenges that players have to complete. So for this one, it was kill every enemy, defeat every enemy that's there. There are some that's like
Nuevo
collect a
modificador,
bunch
chicos.
of,
Oigan, sí
like,
está largo, ¿eh? Ya
fallen
pasaron
lights.
como por 3 celdas, un jefe.
Like energy
Esta es la quinta
signals.
celda, la
Or,
cuarta
like,
celda.
Defeat a boss within a certain amount of time. So
El
there's just
cuarto
more things to kind of
modificador
challenge you
o
and
el
make
quinto
these,
modificador.
you know, like transitionary spaces a little bit more interesting. And so we have like the piece de resistance right here. My son, everyone will be very excited to see this. This is one of my favorite intros.
The grand reveal. Yeah,
Exactly.
let's see here. And you were saying the Dread and the Taken are working
The
together
Defile.
in this one, right?
I'd say the Taken are kind of taking the helm of the Dread right now, not because like they're strong or anything, but because like Psylocke is just more experienced.
Tenemos
in
todo
prison.
de,
honestly.
He's
de
you know,
un
he
poco
was a
de todo.
model inmate.
Yeah.
So,
Varios
you know, they were like,
escenarios,
you Ratchet
trono
from the best,
destrozado.
The warden likes him.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. He was always available.
El nuevo
for
DLC, o sea,
work after
como
hours. He was hanging out in the
los
library,
mapas
up on the
temáticos
law,
de cada
right?
DLC.
Yeah, he was doing his.
Enemigos específicos de cada DLC, actividades pues parecidas,
So
obviamente.
what's the mechanic we're seeing at play here as well?
Mecánicas.
This mechanic is a bad pun. So for everyone who loves Rift or really has even played Excision, instead
Es
of
como
Spark
Rift,
Runner
o sea,
buff, it is Dark Runner, where you're picking
Agarras
up,
la grieta
splinters. You're picking up darkness splinters that give you stacks
y la
of Dark
depositas.
Runner up
Y
to,
después de
like,
depositarla
times 3,
puedes
where
hacer
it'll say,
daño.
like Dark Runner max, and then you dunk them in a Rift. And it changes based on like the encounter. For the normal Dread encounter, does something different. But in this, Psylocke will have a shield.
Different objective. It's happening right now too.
Oh yeah, we got the Rifleman is a critical objective, and the thing with that is there will be clones of the Rifleman that spawn around the arena.
Yeah.
You have to find the real one, but the clone's damage is real too.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that you're not in their line of sight.
Yeah.
All these critical objectives are meant to be pretty tough.
Yeah, they're not supposed to go easy on you.
Yeah, I mean they're critical.
It's not the Sandbox of Elders, it's the Tomb,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, thank you.
They die.
Loving how dynamic all this is too, because even like through our practice runs and all that, we've seen a bunch of different modifiers and different objectives
Yeah.
pop
Sí,
up.
está haciendo el chulo, está haciendo el chulo.
If I was to describe what
Dice,
the
para que
design
vean.
tool was for this in one word, it would be variable.
Es un momento,
There's
es un
so
momento
much
del
that can
hechicero,
change
de hacer
from a
tus
given
jugadas
run,
más
really trying to
locas.
embody roguelite to like its fullest. You'll have different pathways.
Anda con todo ese hechicero,
You'll go to different cell blocks in different orders.
Yeah.
You'll have different
para que vean cómo se juega esta madre.
Pop up, different critical objectives, and you'll have different modifiers and all this stuff. And based on how well you do, the dynamic, enemies are harder or easier based on how well you do. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I hope players can I'm looking at Dado and Astacross, make a good guide for this.
Yeah.
Because this is a big one. But I think that the more people play, they'll kind of understand the mode a lot more. And there's a lot to offer, I think. And we're not going to show the treasure chamber, unfortunately, but that's kind of the whole thesis. We want everyone to get to that treasure chamber and feel like however they played, they can get paid out based on how well they did.
Definitely.
And my goal was, even if you're at the worst level, if you're at Warden's Punishment ×3, you're able to get to the max rewards in one lap.
Yeah. Just might take you a little bit longer.
Yeah, you just have to be kind of dialed in.
Yeah.
It'll be the phrasing of oh, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Exactly.
You got to earn these rewards.
You got to say it in a Varric's voice, though, too.
Oh, I'm not.
So Warden has so many lines.
Por favor.
On narrative for writing all the lines.
Yeah.
He has, I think, I don't even know. I'm not going to, make a number up right now. But he has a bunch, and they range from being, I'm very proud of you, to, come on, man, you got to do a little better than that.
Yeah,
it kind of pushes you to kind of just want to make him proud.
Yeah. He's not mad, he's just disappointed.
Disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. Dylan is the father here. He's used to saying that to me.
I don't use the slang like you do.
That's it. I mean, I got that Skibbity Ohio riz, unfortunately. But
what was that?
Moving right along. Actually, while we have a second here, Taylor, I wanted to go ahead back to you.
Yeah.
Actually, we've got some new artifact mods joining this time.
Vamos a ver los nuevos modificadores de
artefacto,
chicos.
And see what we got here.
Yeah, so we've got
Veamos.
the last...
Los siempre son los de la fila de abajo, todos son los nuevos.
Sorry.
Teníamos los lanzagranadas, ¿verdad? Pero tenemos ahora...
These are all close quarters themed, so we've got a discount for all your melee mods.
Todos los modificadores de melee
emergency reinforcements, which I think is
consume una carga de armadura.
We've got a way to get armor charge while you're surrounded. The boost there.
Bajas rápidas con rodeado garantiza una carga de armadura.
Yeah, so there'll be new tonics.
Nice.
This, I think, is a variant of one of the older mods that is when you break a...
La primera vez que tú rompas el escudo de un enemigo o de un guardián, creas un orbe de poder.
They give an orb power or elemental pickup or tangle, gives you a bit of health, which kind of replicates the leg armor mods, which you can run both.
Se boostea con los pócimas.
I know, I'm running Stasis Hunter with the new helmet, and that's going to be pretty good for that.
Yeah.
And also just for staying alive in this activity, since it's kind of spicy.
Someone who's been a very punchy punch hunter these days.
Usando tu super chat.
Yeah, those
Usar tu
there's a
super,
lot of mods
romper un
in this row that
escudo.
I'm really looking forward to having.
Quiero un orbe de poder.
Yeah.
In this.
And to that end as well, quickly, for anyone who may not read through every patch note necessarily, quick update, what were the changes you guys made to Exterior? Get your memes going. We have got some cool stuff arriving in the form of, let's go ahead and start from the top. We're doing a partnership with Street Fighter. Coming up.
Oh,
Can you tell us a little
el
bit about the cool
partnership.
stuff that we're going to have available?
La colaboración de Street Fighter, chicos.
Right, well, what if I ask that?
Let me
Please,
see.
Can you tell us?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
I mean,
there we go. All
so
right.
you've seen a few things through gameplay. We have a bunch of cosmetics. Like the first thing you can see here
La
is a
filtración
wonderful set of ghosts. So we got your Cammy, Ryu, your Chun-Li. I wouldn't want my ghost to get into a fist fight with any of the bosses really, but that one looks like
Lo quiero y lo
Ryu one's
tengo.
pretty swole, I gotta say.
Yeah. I'm gonna punch every face of the witness.
There's a lot, so you better get to work.
Yeah. And then one of our players has actually been running around with a Blanca helmet, which is, so it's not one class that gets this. It's going to be universal ornament. The helmet goes on all characters, Hunter, Titan,
Es lo que le
Warlock,
estaba diciendo, mira qué guapo.
and then with the roaming super,
Tiene la vida
you can
acá
throw on your Titan Arc Super, you could throw on Storm Trance, and go and kind of roleplay with some of that electricity, right?
Yeah.
No lo había visto, al otro sí lo vi, pero este pensé que era de Halloween, la máscara.
Maybe not
No
as
sé por
swole
qué.
as him
Porque
necessarily,
parece una
but
máscara de
still, step in
Halloween.
the right direction.
Right.
For yourself.
O sigue siendo una máscara de Halloween, no lo sé.
We all know, Noah, that you're just way cooler than all of us.
Debería ponerse un arma más chiquita para ver.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, great.
So,
great.
Yeah, great. So there are also 3 finishers. You might have seen those sprinkled in through the gameplay. Lightning
El
Kick,
golpe,
Spin Bird,
el golpe está muy bueno.
Hadouken. I
What
can't do that.
are you doing
Hadouken.
over here, Dylan?
Hadouken. Oh,
Was
hostia,
There it
my
is.
attempt worse than the joke, or
Significantly
We'll
better.
let the comments.
Significantly better.
Lighting.
Yeah.
then we got
Mira,
some
de la-
emotes that we can show
de la-
off
¿cómo se
too,
llama
which
esta
are,
tipa?
a pretty good time.
Yeah, let's see here.
La Chun-Li? No,
See
¿verdad?
what
Oh,
we
sí.
can see here. If gameplay's on screen, anyway.
There we go.
There we go. Yes. All right. So we've got some emotes to show off as well. Let's start with the
Quiero ver las armaduras, chat.
group emote here.
Necesito ver las armaduras. Oh, mira qué
Time
guapo.
fight.
The health bars are so good.
And
Me
winner.
gusta, me gusta.
God, And then we got a bonus round. Let's
Muy
go.
bien. ¿Ya vieron las alas del hechicero? O sea, me acabo de dar cuenta que tenemos unas malditas alas. Qué maldita locura, Chad. ¿En qué momento se metieron unas alas?
It's an important role to play, honestly, yeah.
Qué guapa está la escopeta exótica.
This is going to be my new Trials intro, I can already tell.
Es un scout, es una escopeta, ¿no? ¿Ya vieron esta belleza?
Yeah, let's go ahead and rotate over there. With the arrival as well of this act, the Dawning is going to be making its return as well on December 10th, I believe.
Holy moly.
Let me check my notes.
El casco está guapísimo, Chad.
Yes, December 10th.
Qué bueno que soy
10
main
a.m. right at
hechicero.
reset, we'll have the Dawning coming back. The wonderful theme for our armor is going to be a celestial space dragon, which is really great. And then the team did a bunch of really good work on shader application. We've seen your feedback tons of times on, hey, I want my shaders to look pretty on all the armor that I'm getting.
Como es mi
This knocks it out of
hechicera.
the park, especially with that celestial star map in the wings. So each class is going to get their dragon on. It's going to be a great time. These armor sets you can get for silver or bright dust. So if you've been doing all your Pathfinders, shout out to the team on the Pathfinder changes in the last episode launch. Yeah, lots of bright dust, so you can get these armors pretty quick. And then Dawning, we're going to have your favorite cookie baking activities coming back, going around to all of your different vendors, giving them nice treats, giving some raisins to Eris, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Todos tienen alas, chat.
There have been a
Todos
couple
tienen
quality of
alas.
life changes that I want to call out.
La del titán. La del titán, bro. Sorry que me emocione, pero la del titán está hermosa. El cazador es... No te creas, porque el distintivo está guapo. Pero el titán está hermosísimo.
Specific ingredient is not dropping for me. We're upping the drop rates for all those. So
sí, creo que son de la actividad de Navidad.
Taste or whatever.
And we are.
You'll start getting that a little bit more frequently.
I never had an issue.
Stop it. Okay. Don't
well, yeah, you're the lucky one.
Yeah.
Built different.
Dev loot.
Classic Taylor. Geez, yeah, the Dev loot. Yeah.
Dawning Engrams are coming back. We have Focusing. You can actually earn double perks as well. So if you're trying to get the new linear fusion rifle with some spicy rolls, it's going to be nice to earn a pathway to a couple in the columns. But if we could get a preview,
¿no?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Yeah. So Adaptive
rifle.
Burst, beautiful fusion rifle. There's already actually a pretty spicy roll on the screen right now.
Fusion
So
rifle,
on the left
pero
column,
lineal,
internally we call it Box Weaken.
Like box break.
What is what's the actual?
Apuntar con esta arma por un
So
periodo
in
corto de
downsides for a bit,
tiempo
and then you
Left
can,
column specifically.
te garantiza que debilites a los
you can weaken your
enemigos.
targets, and then in the right column, bait and switch.
Dejar de apuntar quita el
amp up your
efecto de
damage,
debilitar.
weaken your target. That's actually
Bite and switch, perdón, siempre
Singer too,
funciona.
to get a bunch of your ammo back. But if you're
Based.
actually worried about ammo, Envious Arsenal, it's one of the hottest perks of this season or of this episode.
Se ve bien,
this act.
Bastante bien.
Those are going to
Imagínate, debilitas.
linear that's coming
Tienes
Bait and switch has become the
bait
darling
and
child of my
switch
heavy ammo
para
slot,
hacer más
honestly, so I'm
daño.
excited to see this. Also, I
La
think we were
estás
talking earlier,
debilitando,
after being such a
apuntando,
big fan of
jarscopeando,
seeing another
generas más daño por debilitar,
linear fusion rifle on the
más
map.
daño
Pretty
por bait
excited
and
about it.
switch.
Yeah, Storm Chaser, thank you, Storm Chaser.
Y además es de daños de vacío, bro. O sea, tiene sentido, ¿no? Porque
One of my
debilita.
buddies out in
Genial.
Midwest, he
Me
actually does
encanta.
some storm chasing as a hobby. So he's like, I need that gun. Love you,
I
Tim.
need that gun. Y sí.
Yeah, and then outside of the new weapon, there are going to be a bunch of reprised
Vaya,
weapons
o sea,
with
que
new
es un arma
rolls. So
decente.
your
Pero
fusion
ya
rifle,
están bien
pulse
nerfeados,
rifle,
¿no?
glaive sword, and the machine gun. Big shout out to Lego LaFlash. He's my go-to content creator for fusion rifle rolls and Glacioclasm. You may see it in the Crucible, may shake your fist at it a couple times.
Sí, con que uno tenga el perk en su escuadra ya.
After seeing you in that Bungie
Debilitas.
Foundation stream, just mopping
Con
the
uno
floor with
debilitas.
fusions, I
Y a
fully
todos
expect this to be
les
added to your
beneficia. Debilitar le beneficia a todo el equipo.
Nothing wrong with it.
We can't be friends anymore.
I mean, on Glacioclasm, there's going to be Lone Wolf closing time, so push out that range.
Ese rol es para PvE, chat.
Right now, you're
probably
giving everyone
correcting
ideas,
me on
Dylan.
that,
Okay?
Sorry, what was that?
It's tough enough to get to the lighthouse these days. You're giving everyone ideas, all right?
Yeah, I hope they come in and ruin my day. It makes for great clips. Yeah, and I mean, so strange coins are actually going to be added to the Dawning gifts as well.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
like with Festival of the Lost, you could get the exotic class items with candy and that kind of stuff. With Dawning, you're going to get higher drop rate of those strange coins from giving out those gifts, and then you can go to Zur, you can get your exotic class items or the Zerf board actually too.
Oh, nice. So we
it's not necessarily a catch-up mechanic, but we know, hey, you might not be going into
2030 de luz, chat.
strange coins, so we're trying to spread the love.
2030 de luz,
get what we
chicos.
deserve.
Sí.
I keep setting you up for these, and then I just regret.
No, thank you. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll do you a solid. Set you up for one. We have one more cool little thing actually. There's a new fashion set that's being added to Act 2 as well. The players have been pretty excited about it. They may have caught wind of it, but can you tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here, Dylan?
So, by the power of the moon, the team has done.
No creo. No vi el arma. El fusión lineal era 2030. Creo que no, sí.
We got your Warlock and your Titan there, showing off their fashion, pondering an orb, if you will. But yeah, I mean, this has been a set long time coming. We hope players enjoy throwing.
Era 2030, madre mía. El fusión lineal era 2030, no, ya no quiero más potencia.
Gothic cutesy set, that's gonna be.
Es injugable, pruebas o series, no llego a la puta luz, o sea, no entro a pruebas porque soy 2004, o sea, bro.
If you're going in, doing your Pathfinders, all that kind of stuff, yeah. It'll be available in the Eververse for Bright Testers.
Uy, hola, el titán.
Best fashion life.
Right? Fashion is the true end game.
Destiny is going to be really dialing it up.
Let's see. Any other notes? Oh, I do want to give a shout out.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I mean, like, at the top of the show, I was saying I'm an emissary of the team, but ultimately there are a ton of people that make cool content. Like, we have Noah Taylor here right now, but big thank you to Mike Profeta.
A ver, chat, lo de la potencia no estoy seguro, ya me confundí, yo no dije nada, solo estoy leyendo el chat, entonces pues andan diciendo que 2030, no vi el lineal, sí, pues bueno. Y si no, es el personaje con el artefacto.
To like the folks behind the stream and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's a group effort, and I'm really excited for what's to come.
Yeah. So. No, I mean it's nice. Let's make those.
Vale, el chat me confirma que sí, el arma estaba 2030. Entonces, ahora, pues mucho, no creo. Es que no sé, si somos 2010, ¿cómo va a ser? What?
Contest, every arena, he had made it himself, and it is beautiful as we've seen. So I want to shout out Keenan and Olivia. I already shouted her out earlier, but I'll just do it.
10 puntos, pero si el acto 2 no son 10 puntos, son 20 puntos. Yeah. O sea, debería ser 10 puntos por acto. Ahora son 10 puntos, 20. Estoy confundido.
And then Denny for something we might talk about in a bit.
Interesting.
We'll get to that.
What an interesting little tease that is.
Yeah, I mean, teams are stronger than heroes is one of the Bungie pillars.
Yeah.
And it's like, in the game, this is where you see it in full force because everything is made by so many hands.
Yeah, honestly, it's something I always say is nothing ever happens here in a vacuum, right? Like it takes a lot of people to come together. This coalescence of technical and artistic skills like really make a lot of cool stuff happen. So, you know, we'll obviously make sure and give additional thanks at the end, but to our compatriots at Bungie that are here even now, working hard, continuing to build all of the next chapters of Destiny, thank you all so much. We appreciate it.
Do I have any other notes?
Do you have any other notes?
I think... Oh, yeah, last thing. We've had a lot of players asking about Iron Banner.
Oh, right.
Iron Banner.
Yeah, November 26th, so the week after the Act launches, we'll have Iron Banner coming back with a new armor set and a couple new weapons that
nuevas armas, nuevas armaduras.
Can you give us a tease? There was a sidearm, I remember we were talking about it.
Ya las vimos, chat.
Stasis, rocket sidearm with choke clip. I think some people have already found that, but yeah, that'll be available soon.
I just like all those words, honestly.
Forever sit in that slot.
Yeah, I cannot wait, honestly.
Archon's Thunder, baby. Get your machine gun on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay, all right. It's been a while. Just even the look of that one, honestly, I'm smitten by, but
yeah,
that nice classic solar machine gun is a lot of fun.
Yeah, but we'll have a ton of twids between now and end of December when we go dark, but we'll have a bunch of stuff on Iron Banner. Dawning, all the goodies in there. We have a bake-off event that's going to be going on in the game where you can earn some cosmetics and emblems.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we have a lot of good content in this act going through the end of the year.
Very nice. Excellent. Well, we also, as is the case with these streams, we're getting near the end of our agenda here for today. But as is the case typically, we're going to leave you with just one more thing as well. Now, as a quick heads up, the launch of Act 3, pardon me, is going to be on January 7th. So given that that's right after 2025 rolls around, many of us will be at home spending time with our families and loved ones, or if you're like me, sitting around to just playing more Destiny. So as a result, we won't be actually having an Act 3 stream. So unmark those calendars for the stream, but make sure you log in that day because with the arrival of Act 3, shortly after the arrival or right when it launches, we'll defer that to a twit to make sure we get that date spot on. There's going to be a new exotic weapon quest arriving as well, and with it, a new exotic shotgun as well that we're going to actually take a look at here today.
Now, the la shotgun viene con una nueva quest exótica, chicos. Esta es la escopeta exótica que viene con una nueva quest.
I'd love to put you on the spot real quick. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here?
Yeah, so this is Slayer's Fang. It's a pretty unique
enorme esa what?
Slug shotgun.
Slug shotgun, chat.
It fires a single slug round that once it impacts
Pero no parece de posta con esos tiros.
or surface, like environment, the slug shatters in a bunch of
se dividen los proyectiles, que sería el proyectil, ¿no?
You get True Sight for a short period of time, and then the shattered projectiles will weaken targets that they hit, and they get a bit smarter with their tracking.
Very nice.
No. What? ¿Qué mierda?
In that?
Yeah, it's like a small void crystal. Like I think the theme is like the projectiles are like hitting surface and they shatter into bits.
Yeah. We went down as a squad of 9. We're turned into void crystals and are now in an exotic weapon.
Hey, I mean, we
turn everything and everyone into weapons around here.
Escopeta de posta y cuando obtienes una baja o disparas, no, cuando disparas de cadera, chat, los proyectiles se dividen. Apuntas es de posta. Disparas de cadera.
Yeah, was it the whole magazine up front? Not necessarily. Okay. I'm already mentally trying to
efecto este de
Your Falcon,
very curious
de dispersar las balas.
No backup plans.
Me gusta el concepto.
Might happen.
Well, they will now.
No, vamos a probar esta cosa en crisol,
The shotgun changes that happen.
Ojo.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, like
un side labs, chat. Un side labs.
Yes. Yeah. So like kind of the past couple quests I've done with this, like Acquire 1, etc. A bunch of things to do in the activity, intrinsic levels to unlock, and a handful of catalysts that have some interesting interactions with how the gun
¿Debilitó chat o es mi imaginación?
So the theory crafters in the audience are going to have plenty to sink their teeth into.
Parece que debilitó al enemigo,
Maybe secret things to do.
Casi lo matas.
Right.
Hasta aquí, chicos, el video de hoy. Si tú te sube a YouTube, gracias por ver, gracias por comentar, gracias por compartir el contenido. Espero te haya gustado, te haya servido y te haya informado como se debe. Obviamente haremos un resumen más específico, pero bueno, aquí está la reacción completa de todo lo que se viene para el acto 2. Dicho eso, nos vemos en el siguiente video.